Hey everyone, in this episode we're going to discuss the film Happy Death Day to You. We're going to share our thoughts on how we think it stands as a sequel, if we feel that there should be a third one, and also stick around to the end of the episode because we're going to give a quick review on the film Isn't It Romantic starring Rebel Wilson. This is episode 121 of the Reel-ists Podcast. Hello listeners, welcome. My name is Donnie.
And I'm Oscar.
And we have our producer Ruben here.
Hi.
Hi, Ruben says. And thank you for listening to the Reel-ists Podcast. Wah, 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 wah. If you are a first-time listener, welcome. We really appreciate having you guys here. If you're a returning listener, thank you for returning to our podcast. We appreciate it so much. We would appreciate it even more, and this is going to go specifically to our listeners who listen to us on iTunes, that if you guys could please do us a humongous favor and please rate us on iTunes. You can leave us a little review. Let us know how we're doing, what you guys think works for the podcast. Anything. I couldn't think of the word that I wanted to spit out, so I just kept saying any. Anything at all that you guys want to give us feedback on, we would greatly appreciate it. And you can rate us 5 out of 5 stars.
1 to 5.
1 to 5. But okay, let's try to keep it like in the 3 to 5 range, please.
We're not telling you what score to give us, but we're telling you what score to give us.
I mean, yeah, you guys are free to give us whatever score you'd like. 5. But, you know.
Just randomly say 5 throughout the day.
Yeah, 5. But, you know, we'd appreciate it, 5, if you guys would, 5, do that to us. For us, 5.
Are you going to throw a 4 in there?
I didn't say 4, I said 5. It sound like I said 4?
It sounded like it said almost 4.
Oh, no, I'll say 5. Wait, can you do half scores? I forgot.
No.
Okay, so then I was going to say you can do 4.5 if you don't want to do 5, but just do 5.
You don't want to do the Donnie, no, not everything deserves a 5.
Yeah, I know, right? You know, I rarely give things 5 out of 5. Just want to remind you guys, this will be a spoiler discussion. So if you have not seen Happy Death Day to You and you don't want to get spoiled, you know what to do. But if you have seen it and you are caught up, then let's just jump right into the conversation. And as always, Oscar, why don't you kick us off with some quick thoughts on Happy Death Day to You?
All right. So with this movie, all I knew going in was, I mean, I've seen the first one, but all I knew going in, it was that it was going to still replay the loop of like having to live your day over and over. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know exactly how they were going to do it. So I was very curious about that. And once we got into what the movie was going to focus on, which, as we said, spoilers. So it's her in an alternate universe trying to get back to her original. Well, she's not trying eagerly because she kind of had like a moment of like, no, I want to stay here. But once we got that storyline like set, I was okay with it. The beginning portion of it, of like the friend having to relive it, I wasn't really feeling. I was like, I don't know if I really want to go through this journey with another character. I was like, I was content with our main character. So to have that not be the plot was a relief, and then to see that it was still going to be that little twist. Yeah, I mean, I think it worked well. It wasn't the same where, you know, we were getting jump scares of how she was being killed. This became more of enjoying that premise of like, if you can relive your day over and over, you know, what creative ways would you kill yourself, or, you know, that kind of like fun approach to it. Kind of like the 100 ways you can die kind of thing. But
I forgot about that show, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like that was one of those things that I appreciated out of this movie. And because the characters we are familiar with, it was fun to see them again. I know that in the alternate universe there were some changes to some degree, and we actually got to meet the mom finally. So I feel like it paints this whole bigger picture that you kind of, if you go look at the first one, you kind of get a little bit more respect because you feel like you know a little bit more about these characters, you know, about the mom and how the mom really had a big part in her life, and to lose her early and to kind of see why that took a toll on her. I feel like that it makes a little bit nice, complete story together. I don't think it necessarily removed anything from the first one, and I thought that was a concern of like, oh, you know, doing this whole repeat of it again is taking away the value of the first one. because it didn't do this exact same copy and paste. It looked like it was, but it didn't. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was well executed. Some questions on some things that, I wish they would have addressed, but we probably talk about it a little bit later. But yeah.
Okay. So, Google says, Collegian Tree Geldman wakes up in horror to learn that she's stuck in a parallel universe. Her boyfriend Carter is now with someone else, and her friends and fellow students seem to be completely different versions of themselves. When Tree discovers that Carter's roommate has been altering time, she finds herself once again the target of a masked killer. When the psychopath starts to go after her inner circle, Tree soon realizes that she must die over and over again to save everyone. What was her real name in the movie? Tree was her nickname, but wasn't it
Nah, not Teresa. No.
It was something. They said it at some point, and or maybe they didn't. Maybe I just looked it up, and I go, "Oh, that's her name." Anyways, we can look that up later. Yeah, a lot of the same points. I agree with you, Oscar. I feel like I was afraid that it was just going to be the same kind of film.
Oh, it's Teresa. Teresa Tree Gilbin is her name.
Teresa, okay. Tree.
Why are you trying to go by her real name?
Nah,
it says Tree in the entire movie. But
I just remember when I saw I was like, Tree. I was like, I knew that wasn't her name. So
I thought I was mishearing it when it was like Trini or something like that. But yeah, Tree kind of just sound like a...
Tree just kind of sticks, though. Like, I don't know. It's something about it.
It does. It works, but as soon as you confirm that that's what it is and you're not mishearing it, because I thought I was just mishearing it. I was like, are they saying Tree or are they trying to say like Trini? Am I just not like am I forcing myself to hear Tree or something? But
yeah.
Continue.
I was gonna say I agree with a lot of your points. I was afraid that we were gonna get like the same exact film. And it was interesting because they did open it up differently. They opened it up to the Carter's roommate. Kind of, it seemed like he was stuck in this time loop as Tree was in the first one. So I was like, are they gonna now change the focus over to him, and like Tree's gonna be helping him, kind of like giving her advice, like, okay, well, this is how I escape the time loop, for myself.
Yeah.
Now or are we gonna shift the focus to him being the central character? Which thankfully it wasn't. Not that he was a not interesting character. We came for Tree. We came for the character.
We came for the character.
For Jessica Roth's character. But I thought it was really fun. Clearly they had a lot of fun with it. I was kind of telling you this when I was giving you my initial thoughts of the film, but it seemed like the first one was definitely more serious in tone, and they had it was more of like a slasher film vibe, more like a scary movie. Let's oh my gosh, let's watch a scary movie.
Yes.
Let's watch Happy Death Day. This one, they had a lot more fun with it. It was a lot more comedic elements. And
it was almost to a small extent like a spoof of the first one.
Yeah,
almost. Yeah,
I could slightly see that, especially with all the creative ways that she, not only that she died, but she killed herself. In the first one, I don't think she killed herself at all.
No.
But those were all from the babyface killer. But this one, it was a little bit different. So that was it was cool. It was like a different take on it. And I read in an article that they intentionally wanted to do that. And I think the hope is that they can extend it to a 3-part movie.
Really?
Yeah. They said that they definitely want to do a third one if this one is still successful. And that they want to even give the third one like a different vibe. So like the first one was more slasher film. The second one was a little more fun and comedic. And they had kind of sci-fi with the whole, multiverse theory, and then the third one they would like to do something a little different with it as well.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I don't think they should do it, but okay.
You don't think they should do a third one? I thought you said that. Wasn't it you and Justin that said you guys would want to see a third one?
No.
It was just Justin?
I don't know. I can't recall if Justin said it or not, but I know I don't think there should be a third one unless they are coming up with something outside of this little loop. If they're like moving on, then to some degree I'd be like, okay, what's the pitch? But this whole we're gonna do the loop again, but this time instead of going to an alternate universe, we're gonna swap where it's now she's a male or something. I don't know. I don't know where you really can go with the whole loop for the same day. I just felt like the second one was a nice treat. I just don't know why they're trying to make a franchise out of Happy Death Day.
We're trying to get more money.
I mean, I get that. But the box office so far hasn't been good. It actually was the lowest out of the 3 new openings this week or this past week or the past week, whatever, the week that they released. So yeah, so far the numbers are not reflecting. I mean, I know it didn't cost a lot. I think it cost like in the mid tens, like in the range.
I think it was like a $9 million budget.
Yeah, something like so. Yeah, very very moderate. So I could see why it definitely makes its money back, but it didn't soar to number one at the box office the way the first one did. The first one was a good commercial success for what it was. This one was a good, but not the best.
So compared to the first one, because you asked me this, I'm going to ask you. I'll give you my answer too. But which one did you like better, the first one or the second one?
After being able to think about the second one and think about what was given to me, I enjoy the first one a little bit more. Because the first one gave me those jump scares. It gave me that thrill of like, what do I do if someone's killing me, every single time that I repeat this day. I feel like I enjoyed that premise a little bit more than the jumping to a different universe. And I completely I understand the whole universe approach to it, and I thought that was a fun twist. But I feel like the first one, I liked that premise more of what do you do if you have to relive a day and you are being killed by this particular someone. Like, do you try to solve it? Do you try to kill that person first? Like all that stuff. So I thought it was a really nice premise. Than the second one's premise.
I initially said I liked the first one better. I think I still do like the first one a little bit better just because of kind of what you said, but it was more like a slasher film. It was more like, oh my God, who's behind the mask, which we want to know, like, who's behind the mask in this one too. But that was kind of like the big build up, like, who is it? Like, who done it? And it was more thrilling to watch in that sense. So it was like, it kept me on my toes a little bit more. And I was rewatching it because it was on TV at work the other day, and I was like, wow, like I forgot how much I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. This second one is good because it definitely, like I said, it's a different, some different elements to it, and it does open up even broader spectrum in terms of like it now, and we have like these parallel universes that they're trying to introduce us to, which I thought it was smart to do, because if they hadn't have done something different, it would have just been another time loop, which would have been the same as the first one. So it really wouldn't have differentiated from the first one. But the fact that they did open it up and now their tree is in a parallel universe where things are different, I thought was pretty interesting, and really, I liked that we got to see how certain things played out. It was fun seeing her boyfriend Carter with the housemate that her sorority sister that she doesn't really like. I'm not gonna say that. That kind of surprised me. I was like, not that it was like the biggest shocker of the year or anything, but it was like just to see different things, how these differences are in the other universe. The biggest one being that her mom was alive in this one. And that was like really endearing to see. And, then that opens it up it sets Tree's character up to go, okay, do I want to stay in this universe where I have my mom, or do I need to get back to my own universe?
I don't know if it was who said it, but who kind of told her everything that happened to you is what made you who you are today. And I thought that was a really nice kind of like,
wasn't it Carter that said it?
I think it was Carter.
Her boyfriend?
Yeah, I really like that, because like we would love to change things in our lives. Like we would love to be like, oh, if only I can go back and stop this from happening, or if I can see this person again. But it's very true. Like what you've gone through is what helps build who you are in a positive way. So I know that can be like a counter with like, well, what if you have a terrible life? But positively.
Yeah, looking at the bright side of things. The upside of things.
Exactly. Oh, there you go. Still number one on.
Still number one on my list. If you guys seen the upside and haven't checked out our episode, go check it out now.
Yeah, but no, I liked that message. I think that was a very, very strong message to deliver. With like, you can have what you think will make your life better, but that comes at a price. That who are you and identity and all that stuff. So
yeah. And I think, the stakes were right. I felt like they were trying to really send that kind of message with this one, because it's like, it was more, it was like she had higher, like things were at higher stakes here. It's like she had her mom back in this parallel universe. And that's, what she had been longing for, I think in the first one, and she was saying how much she missed her mom and this and that. But then it's like she finally found, I'm assuming like the love of her life in Carter, I guess. Like they were working, they were great together.
It was very early to go with that you're going to be with him forever.
Right. And that was like one of the problems I had.
But she does bring this up to her mom, and the mom kind of tells her, you don't know, you just
take a chance.
Yeah, so that was nice. That was a nice way to address that kind of like, we are accepting that even Tree's not going to be 100% sure that this is the one.
Yeah.
But if she feels like it's worth giving a try, or if it's worth going for.
Dude, her mom had some wisdom. Like everything she was saying, like all her scenes, that she was saying something so wise and profound, and giving such good advice. And I was like, even when she said that, when she was like, how did you know Dad was the one, or how do you know? And she's like, you don't. You take a chance. It's it's a leap of faith.
And I wouldn't have you if it.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh man, you're making it really hard for us to say goodbye to you, because we know she's not going to stay in this parallel universe. Like that was.
That would have been a twist.
Had she stayed, I wouldn't have. Yeah, then she would have lost Carter.
I feel like she would have got him back. Like he was the same. He wasn't like a complete.
But he was gonna die though, right?
No, she saved him.
Well, she saved him because she went back to her regular universe. But in that one, he was gonna die because I forgot why.
I don't think she. I mean, I know he died.
Because remember, that's why she like grabbed. It was something about Sissy. It was something about the reactor or whatever that machine was, where like it was gonna. Oh no! The babyface kill. Remember, the babyface killer killed him when he went to try to go stop. When he ran to the hospital. Remember, she saw it on the news.
Right, in that version, yes.
In that, yeah. So she had to
restart the day.
Right, but he would have. He would have kept going into harm's way, I think.
I don't know. Maybe
like he would have kept dying. He would have kept dying.
I mean, maybe I missed it, but I didn't take it as that. I was under the impression that she had to choose her mom because he was dating the friend or the roommate. So I was kind of just more of like, if that was, I always saw it as like she can just win him over in a sense because she knows to some degree him, and he wasn't like a complete different. I can understand if he was like a complete different character. He was like an a-hole, and he was like just like the roommate and like that. I can understand if that was the case, but he still like he was the same person,
which was odd because the roommate was different.
Yeah,
it's like some things were different, but like the dad was still the same, and apparently the mom was still this. She would have been the same woman. The
roommate was of an actress and not as rude. Yeah, so
it was, and even the guy that built the machine, that built Sissy, and the two other people, like they were the same in the parallel universe.
Exactly.
But I don't know.
Although I will say that to me was a little bit of a downside to this movie. It would have been nice to see almost everyone
be a little different.
Yeah. Give something different to work with. Because otherwise, I was kind of just like, there's no wrong in wanting to stay in this universe. Like, I mean, I understand, the other person, you're giving up and you're sacrificing the world that you were part of and all that. I understand all the consequences of choosing to stay. But there wasn't too much to be like, this is the worst place.
Well, and also, like, for it to be, if you're going to go with that concept and go, okay, we're going to make a parallel universe, I mean, you might as well make all these things different and add all these changes so that it does feel like another world and it doesn't feel the same. Otherwise, what's the point? Otherwise, just stick with the time loop thing and, it's not necessary to do a parallel universe if everyone's going to be the exact same.
Exactly.
Except for, like, your roommate who's a little nicer and wants to be an actress and
is dating
your
Carter.
Mom's here, I don't know, but I mean, it was interesting. They gave it a shot. They gave it a swing, and they got to first base. I'm trying to use a baseball analogy here.
I feel bad for Carter because he couldn't get any more development because they put him back into this like every day
the same day
you don't know who she is and you have your questions.
So that's the thing I wanted to just quickly talk about. I find, and this is me just reading way too much into it, and I know you don't do this but they were all so gung-ho on like, okay, Tree, we believe you. Like, even from the beginning, like, I mean, the guy who built Sissy, he knew because he built the thing. So I'm sure, you know, he built the...
He was understanding of what he was going for, yeah.
And I guess the other two, the friends who also... took,
college mates.
Yeah, college mates who helped build the machine. I mean, they were on board too, I guess, because they helped build the machine. But it just seemed like everyone, even from the first one, like, even when she was trying to convince Carter about this, that's like a big thing to like, and you don't even know this person because they only met the night before. So it's like for her to wake up and she must seem out of her mind. She's like wakes up screaming a lot, or she's saying things that don't make sense. And then like within this like 12-hour period, you have to like convince someone of like that you're stuck in a time loop and you keep dying. Like, that's a really far-fetched idea to try to get someone to
I could just imagine me trying to tell you that. And like you probably would joke around at first, and then you probably be like, "All right, I'm done. Like you were done. Like stop bringing this up. We're done."
And it's not even the fact that they don't that they believe her, but like they're willing to put their like lives in like harm's way to help her with the cause of whatever, you know. Like I feel like, you know, that's
would you be able to believe someone at some point? Like what would be the convincing factor with?
If you told me, if you woke up and you told me I'm stuck in a freaking time loop, and you were like, oh, you know, in 5 seconds that alarm's gonna go off,
right?
And this little kid's gonna shout for his blanket, and the mom's gonna blah blah blah, and like if you told me all these things and all of them happen, I would be freaking out a little bit. I'd be like, what is going on, Oscar? Like, did you orchestrate all this? I would think it's the biggest joke in the world. But then, I mean, at some point, but knowing you, see, that's different because I know you. So I know, like, if you were telling me that, I would believe you. But, like, someone I just met the night before, I would think that it's a humongous prank. If I didn't know that person that well, if I only met him, like, 24 hours ago, even if they were like, oh, this is going to happen right here, and that's going to drop now. And, like, I would think that they had orchestrated it or that they planned it, and they're just, or maybe I'm on a game show or a hidden camera show. I don't know that I could believe that, and I damn sure am gonna like go put myself in harm's way and risk my life. Unfortunately, because I wouldn't believe it. I feel like I'm a jerk for saying that, but I mean,
you're a jerk.
Yeah, I know. I mean, would you?
It's tough. To the risking my life part of it, I don't know if I would go that far, but I probably would be willing to believe it. Maybe deep down, I just would get excited that something like this is happening. like one of those things.
This is the stuff I only see in movies and shows.
Like, you know, that kind of fantasy you always wish. Like, man, I wish I had superpowers right now. Like, I wish, you know, I got so mad and I found out what my powers were. Like that kind of fantasy that you probably have. I think a little bit would be, you know, excited because I'm like, oh my gosh, we're actually having this little sci-fi realistic thing. But yeah, like if it was just like, oh, we have to go stop this killer. I don't think I would be like, I'm down. What's the game plan? I think I would be like, I can drop you off where you need to be.
I give you a ride.
And I can wait for you at the 7-Eleven down the street.
If you need a couple bucks, I mean,
Right. But I don't know if I would risk my life for that.
I'll call the police. I'll call the police. I'll call the police.
To a stranger level. If it was like you telling me like, we have to do this to prevent some crazy future from happening, then I probably would. But yeah, for a stranger, very hard.
Yeah. Well, Oscar, what was you say? I'm like, I
don't know what that was.
I don't know either. I'm like,
what was my la la?
Whatever you.
Are we officially calling it?
Whatever you had going on, like it's like transferring over to me now. I was gonna say, did you have any like favorite scenes from the film or any standout moments?
In terms of favorite scene, I enjoyed her creativity for how to die, how to kill herself. I thought that was fun. And they did it in a fun way. They didn't do it in like a depressing or any kind of dramatic event. It was just creative ways, and you probably, to some extent, with like thought of like ways that, you know, you can be creative, I guess, of how you would kill yourself. I don't know. But
are you okay? Do you need to talk to someone?
Not like that. I'm just saying, like, you know, like when you go to like Walmart and you see like the bleach and you're just like, or the Tide Pods, if you were to eat this right now,
yeah,
$100 if you would eat this right now. So that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was all done in a humorous way. I do like the emotional beats that this movie had, with her really kind of deciding what's best for her. Should she stay or should she go? Because that sounds like a very tough, conflicting thing to choose from.
Yeah.
Like if you were to ask anyone, if you can live in this world or you can live in another world where you're rich and you have no debt and you're this, you're making whatever you want to do. Which one do you choose? And like a lot of those kind of like what if situations. So I liked it and I liked what they were saying. I thought their messages were really strong. About like who you are is because of what you've been through and.
That was a good
You have to take a chance, and those like all those great things. I think those were really strong moments that worked. It didn't come off cheesy. It didn't come off, like shoehorn in. It was just like a natural like.
Yeah, it was fluid. And it flowed, and I agree.
So those are my moments.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, pretty much same thing. I really enjoyed the moments with the mom. I guess the more emotional moments, even though this film was like slasher, sci-fi, mystery, suspense, like comedic. But the emotional moments were really nice, and I think she was. It was just good to see that she had, she lost her mom at a young age, so she was always like longing and yearning to speak to her again. So it's like the time that she did get to be with her mom, it really counted, and she really like dropped some heavy wisdom on her, and it made her view things in life in a different outlet. So that was really nice. That's
a very nice gift that she has, though, because she's going back to her original universe, knowing she's talked to her mom,
and she can, it's like say goodbye and really. Yeah. Really like walk away knowing like she got, I don't want to say she got what she needed. I mean, she did, but it's not the same as having your mom there all the time, but she was able to, I like be at peace with it, I think was the biggest thing. And that was nice. That was really nice. Dang, I had a thought, but I cannot remember what it was. You said something. I just really wanted to really quickly say that she picked some really horrific ways to kill herself. And I did not like. It was fun to watch it, like as being a part of the audience. But there's no way I would do some of the things that she did. She jumped out of an airplane with no parachute. Maybe I'd do that because the death is instantaneous. She ran in. Sorry, Ruben. Do you want me to say these? Oh,
well, you've seen the movie.
Oh yeah.
Dang.
My bad.
You see this trend that we don't know if you've seen the movie sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes we're not sure. She runs into a wood chipper. Like, heck no, I wouldn't. You know how much how painful that is? You might not even die. Like, if you might just get jammed in the machine midway. Like, you still be conscious.
She went head first, so I would assume she does.
But she, put her arms in. Like, what? True. So, I don't know. That was, I would not even mess with that. She drank Drano. Which that just is that's a slow and painful one. That's not instantaneous. Your insides are melting away probably. And then she electrocuted herself in the bathtub. That hurts.
That hurts.
She could have picked some quicker ways to off herself. But it was fun to watch. I'll say.
Right. I think that's the intention, was that you can't just be like, oh, let me just cut myself or let me just stab myself, because then you're like,
Exactly.
Right.
So with all that said, Oscar, what's your final roll score?
For this movie, it is going to be a 3.5 out of 5. I loved the continuation of these characters, to be able to see them again and explore more time with them. I thought that was great. It wasn't bad. It didn't execute it bad or poorly, but I not a too fan of going parallel universe with the whole premise, just because the only character that we really felt like we were developed with and continuing with was with Tree, and everyone else was just, again, back to start one with the, we have to establish, that she's doing this time loop. We have to establish, it had to do a lot of those things that I felt was we got it in the first one. It would have been nice if everyone she was with went to this parallel universe with her or something that made it easier for us to be able to enjoy it. But it executed it well. So it's not that. I just personally, I would have liked it for us to be able to enjoy this with all the characters that we've connected with already, rather than just Tree. Mm-hmm. Carter is probably the biggest disappointment, that we don't get a continuation of what we have with him and Tree, and they have to establish it this universe, I don't date you, I date someone else and stuff. But I did like the emotions to this movie. I thought it was well performed. I thought the script was great, but yeah, to me it was one of those movies that it was very interesting idea that someone would be like, "Oh, I got an idea for a sequel. What if they did this?" But but yeah, ultimately it didn't manage to top the first one. It played with the interesting premise, and coming from a comic book angle, I've seen if this was a different universe scenarios, and those are always fun to play with. But there's always a reason why you stick to the original universe. But yeah, so overall, good movie. A lot of good elements to it. Some things that unfortunately had to be sacrificed just to continue on with the premise, which is why I'm hesitant on the third one, because it's going to go back to this. It has to go back to the premise. It can't be like a complete different scenario of like, oh, instead of repeating, the day, now we're repeating the hour.
Well, I mean, with that end credit scene, they could take it into a kind of different direction. I mean,
it was interesting when the roommate had like two versions of him on the same Earth.
Yeah.
And that's why I was leading questions about like, so was he that? And that's what I was just like, I don't. It's not a plot hole, but it was just more of like, so was the person that came in the other universe, was his goal to prevent the time loop from happening and all that stuff? Like, what was his purpose? Because it kind of shifted completely as soon as she went to the other universe of what the movie was going to be. So yeah, I don't know. To me, it's hard. I don't want a third one. I feel like at that point, you're just trying to milk the money on the title of the movie and the premise, and I don't. Unless they really can blow me away with a interesting idea with the same concept, but it's kind of just like, what more can you do? That's my thought. But yeah, 3.5.
I gotcha. Mine's gonna be the same, 3.5. It was fun, and like I said, I mean, I think I got a little more entertainment out of the first one. I think the second one probably had like one day restarting too many for me. Because there was at some point where I was going, okay, we get it. Like, the days restarting. That we know. Let's move the plot along and see where it goes. So like, maybe if they would have taken one of those days out where she restarted, maybe I would have been a little more keen to it. But it was fun, and it was comedic, and I appreciated those moments because we got all the seriousness in the first one, so to speak. So it's like, let's have fun and be a little more playful with the second one, which I liked. The whole like parallel universe and how there was the same guy. There was two versions on himself in the same one. It was a little confusing if you didn't pay attention, and I still had a lot of questions afterwards. So a lot of my some of my questions didn't get met. Maybe if they did a third one, maybe they would get met. I don't know. I'm not opposed to a third one. At first I was like, there doesn't need to be a third one. I don't think there needs to be a third one, but if everyone really just wants to make another one and they can make it good and worthwhile, then why not? I'm open. So yeah. So I give it a 3.5 as well. And now
Ruben's
I didn't watch this one.
He watched the first one.
Oh, I forgot. I was thinking the first. See, this is what we're talking about.
I watched the first one.
But Ruben liked the first one. What would you give the first one?
I'd give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay. 4 out of 5 for the first one. So when you see the second one,
so right
one more time.
so it's still back to the it's a 1 out of 5 for the second one. Tisk.
Until he sees it, and then he'll update his score. But listeners, definitely let us know what you thought about it. You know where you can do that at. We say it every episode. Before we end this episode, we're going to do something a little different. And
what a plot twist.
Right? In a parallel universe where we don't only cover one film per episode, where we cover 2 films per episode. Oscar and I and Ruben also saw the film Isn't It Romantic, starring Rebel Wilson, this week. So we wanted to quickly share our thoughts on that one. I'm sure you guys have heard of the film Isn't It Romantic? Rebel Wilson, she wakes up in this, after being mugged, she wakes up in this like alternate universe where she's basically in a romantic comedy. So it's kind of, that's the premise of the film. Oscar, really quickly, what did you think of Isn't It Romantic?
I thought, I mean, and I said this a while before the start of the episode, that I didn't maybe I don't appreciate everything that they were going for because I have a limited romantic comedy viewing list that I have. But to me, it was very difficult to kind of appreciate the spoof and at the same time take the movie as a romantic comedy. To me, it was just like one of those, watching it, I was like, okay, I understand we're making fun of romantic comedies, and I get some elements, cliche things that they do in movies, but yet it was like still repeating those same steps. So it was kind of just a little off balance for me, I would say. I did find it funny. It is funny, and you if you've seen Rebel Wilson in another movie, you get the same kind of comedy that you would expect from her, and even from the other actor whose name is going blank, that was in Pitch Perfect. Mm-hmm. What's his name? I feel like it's Adam something. Adam Devine. Yeah, Adam Devine. So I'm like, yes. You know what you're expecting from the comedy from them too, but. Yeah, am I giving my score or just my thoughts? I don't know.
Yeah, you can give us. Well, let me give you my thoughts.
Okay.
No, I get what you're saying. I feel like it was funny. Let me just say, first of all, Rebel Wilson was funny in this one. Nothing like, I wasn't like dying at like pain of laughter or anything. It wasn't, but I think consistently there was a good amount of humor in it. Yes, it was spoofing romantic comedies. And in the end, see, this is where I don't kind of agree with what you said, because I don't feel like yes, she was in this dreamlike romantic comedy state the whole time, but when she got out of it back into the real world, it wasn't that the film was trying to be a romantic comedy again. It just ended on a romantic beat, and it just, her and the guy who she didn't know he was looking at, felt that way about her, ended up saying, you're the one I've been looking at. Let's give this a shot. And I think with her going through her experience in this romantic comedy coma that she was in, she was able to see that. So it didn't seem like it was trying to forcefully be like, oh, we're making fun of romantic comedies, but this is a romantic comedy. I didn't get that. I just felt like it just happened. It was a funny movie.
It's a romantic comedy by default, because you're making fun of a romantic comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they were just gonna completely spoof it, then it would have just been, I told you about this last night, but I feel like it would have just been like a scary movie or a dance movie, like a stupid movie where they were just spoofing and we're just supposed to just walk away just like laughing and making fun of it. But that's just my opinion. That's just what I thought. But,
there's a reason why they make those movies. It's some audience that appreciates
somebody's gonna
that.
like them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so quickly, final real scores. Go Oscar.
2 point. Oh, am I giving reasons?
If you want to, you don't have to.
Well, 2.5 is my score for this.
Okay.
Throwing a low one.
Just throwing it.
Doesn't want to explain.
Ruben?
I'd give it a 3.5.
I'd give...
Yeah, 3. Not 3.
A 3?
No, 3.5. 3.5, sorry.
3.5?
Yeah, 3.5, yeah.
Okay.
So Ruben's just in 3 to 3.5.
3.5.
I think I'd give it a... I'd give it a 3.
Am I the only one that was set with that?
For me, it was between 3 and 3.5 too, but I'd give it a 3. So yeah. So 2.5 from you,
Yeah.
3 from Ruben.
3.5 from Ruben.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. We're switching things up now. Okay. Oscar 2.5. I'm a 3. Ruben's 3.5 for Isn't It Romantic? Okay, cool. That was the quickest review we've ever done. Well, listeners, if you guys have seen either
Watch all the
of
comments.
these
Be
films,
like, I want more detail.
I know, right? No, we want to know why you guys chose those scores. Listeners, definitely let us know what you thought of Isn't It Romantic, or what you thought of Happy Death Day to you. Please share your thoughts. Remember, we're on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Team Reel-ists, Team REELISTS, no dash. You can also leave us a comment on YouTube and leave us a comment and rate us on iTunes as well. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we will catch you next time.